Good evening, guys and gals. This is Ryan with TrendLizard.com. Hey, I wanted to post an update on Aurora Cannabis, ACB. I posted a video on them a couple weeks ago. It's been a hot moving stock, obviously. A lot of people are interested, as I can tell by the number of subscribers I've received from posting that video, as well as the number of comments on that video. So thank you if you subscribed. Thank you for commenting. I love the feedback. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to guide you and show you what stocks to invest in, obviously, and ACBFF has been quite a ride lately, so it's certainly an interesting one, and I wanted to provide an update. It's lost about a third of its value over the last couple weeks. That's a big move. Of course, it gained a huge chunk before that, so it's been on a wild ride. So we're going to take a closer look at its chart to see what's going on. First, I know you're not here for a tutorial or education or anything, but I do need to provide a little background on Elliott Wave. There's two things that you need to know about Elliott Wave for you to trade it. First one is that trends play out in 5 waves. So if it's a trend, you're going to see it play out in 5 steps or 5 waves. And if it's a counter trend move, it's going to play out in 3 waves. Trends tend to be sharp. Obviously, counter trend moves tend to be choppy. But the important thing is to find which direction the 5-wave moves are playing out. And if you can find that direction, you know that's the direction of the trend. And then if you see a 3-wave move, you can say that is not the direction of the trend. And so that's really valuable information. And so that's going to be applicable to what we're looking at tonight. So let's go ahead and dive into ACBFF and see what's going on. Here we go. Okay, so here we are again. We got ACBFF. Its chart up here, this is not since its inception, but it's basically showing everything that matters. There was some flat action that started back here, didn't do anything until late 2016, and since then it's gone up. So earlier I noted, hey, there's 2 things you need to know about Elliott Wave. One is that trends play out in 5-wave patterns, and counter trend moves play out in 3-wave patterns. So this is a pretty obvious statement right now. ACBFF went from 50 cents up to $12.50. That's a trend, but we can prove it with Elliott Wave because it's a 5-wave move. Then you had this massive counter trend pullback in early 2018. It lost about 61.8% of its value at that time. That's a huge important support level for anybody who follows Elliott Wave or follows Fibonacci mathematics, and we do both. And so that's, you can see it's important. It provided support and it shot higher. But we can prove also not only that it's a 3-wave move that makes it a counter trend move, but obviously it is because it was completely retraced by this advance right here. So everything you're seeing on a long-term chart remains bullish. ACBFF has done nothing wrong on a long-term time frame. It still continues to point higher based on the simple facts that the trends are happening to the upside and counter trend moves are happening to the downside. So we're going to zoom in and look at this advance here off of August low. So this is it. This is one that we focused on the last video. Again, it's been 5-wave moves to the upside, 3-wave moves to the downside, all the way up, and the entire advance off of August low is a very clear 5-wave advance. So I think last time we published the video, we were back here somewhere. Since then, it actually jumped quite a bit from 9 to about 12.50, so you're talking 35% of its value or so. But then it quickly gave that back over the last couple weeks after it hit 12.50 very briefly. It's been tanking. It lost a nice tidy 13% over the course of just today, being October 22nd. So obviously that's a ton of value, but hey, I mean, let's be realistic. If you want this kind of volatility or this kind of strength to the upside, you're crazy if you think you're not going to get the same kind of volatility to the downside. That's just how it works. If you want a fast mover, then these are the kind of moves that you've got to sit through. If you want the upside, you're definitely going to have to take the downside too. That's just the way the market works. But short of it is, it's the same thing. We're seeing 5-wave advances to the upside, which again is trendy movement. And the counter trend moves are, the pullbacks are 3-wave counter trend moves. So what we're looking for here is this 5-wave advance is clearly over. We've got a larger counter trend pullback happening here. As long as it stays within this yellow area, it's doing nothing wrong. This is just a healthy counter trend pullback. Basically, as long as it stays above 7, ACBFF is going to have an opportunity just to kick off another massive up leg. You don't want to see it move below 7. If it moves below 7, you need to be out of this guy. It opens up the door to a much larger pullback. So that needs to be the line in the sand for you as far as owning this guy. So let's zoom in a little bit further and just look at this pullback here that's happened over the last last couple weeks. So it's the same thing. Like I said, counter trend moves play out in 3 waves. We've seen it over and over on the last 2 charts. We're seeing the same thing here. Right now, it's a 3-wave move. So that's a good sign that the trend is still up on ACBFF. Now, what it takes to reverse and indicate that a low is into this pullback and things are looking better is a move above 10. If it moves above 10, is a good indication that the pullback is over and the uptrend has resumed. And so that's what we're looking at. So 10 is the important level to the upside. If you don't own ACBFF, 10 would be a good level to buy it once it moves up there. And then again to the downside, anything below 7, and that's a warning sign that you need to get out of the way because it opens up the door to a much larger pullback. So I hope that's helpful. Again, I want to point out that everything we're looking at from the long term to the midterm to the short term, everything we're seeing is 5-wave advances and 3-wave pullbacks. And again, trends play out in 5 waves, counter trend moves play out in 3 waves. You can see for yourself that everything that's happening to the downside, including this big pullback that's underway right now, looks like a counter trend move. And all you can do is trust the charts. I hope that's helpful. Have a wonderful evening. I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.